is some kind of personal outburst, and it sounds emotional. And that's exactly the kind of thing we're talking about in Nigeria.
Yeah,
the way people respond and react to situations. Sometimes they aggravate violence and recriminations among Nigerians.
True. And with all due respect, Rhino Omokiri will always be Rhino Omokiri, always stirring the murky waters and making statements that will elicit reactions. I'm a follower of Rhino on X, as in former Twitter. And his statements had always been one that will shake the table, sort of. He made a statement, not, without mentioning that Atiku Abubakar was also in the mix. Reno Omokiri popularly supported Atiku Abubakar in the last presidential election. And he says that if Obi had won at the tribunal, it would have caused a war. Some would look at that as rabble-rousing. But again, Reno wanted, but that's my verdict, wanted relevance once again. So, okay, let's look at the statement. Let's look at take out the merit of that statement. Obi's major supporters are the youths. The major population of people who supported Obi are the youths. So if you if you look at the merit of that comment, the youths are looked at as volatile and more active people. And then this judgment came. I, for one, would have thought that the nation would have boiled if they had such proclivities.
Okay. Now, what
if they had that propensity to cause chaos in that society, the nation would have been boiling by now.
By now, that's exactly why I said that there's no merit in that talk. Because if you ask me about obedience, my understanding of obedient movement is not an ethnic thing. Obedient movement is not a Biafran. It's not an Eastern Nigerian affair. It's not a Southeast thing. It goes across the entire broad spectrum of Nigerian youths. It is a mass movement. There's no structure. That's why it is more of a social movement, a media movement. And you could see why they made...
And it's not ethnic based.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not ethnic based. You can see why they made a lot of impact in Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt, for example. Because these are very advanced, sophisticated metropolitan centers.
Exactly.
Where the young people held sway, or still hold sway. So it's not an ethnic thing. So what he's talking doesn't make sense. But at the time, the so-called Biafran exponents even disowned him.
Yes.
So it is not... What he's saying is neither here nor there.
No, but again...
It's not a well-researched...
Of course, you will have to... As intelligent as Rhino Omokiri, you would also give it to him. Rhino is, platforms like X, you would depend on the numbers to make money. So he's also looking at the business angle. Some of the statements he made were to stir up reactions and let people come as simple.
And that's the problem with social media. It is not about the propriety of your content. Most times it's about how obscene...
It's about the numbers.
How obscene, how extraordinary that your content is to gather comment.
That attracts the numbers.
Attract comment. So when you're saying a lot of reasonable things that have some level of propriety, you'll be ignored. But when you break your head, that's when it will be regarded.
When you dwell on trivial things, frivolities,
issues and all that. So that's the point. I think that we don't need this kind of comments. We need encouraging comments that will unite Nigeria.
A unifying comment.
So that when we get to the tribunal and the Supreme Court, and of course, I'm sure the Supreme Court wouldn't have much work to do, because what I saw...
The tribunal do extensively.
Yes, they dealt extensively with the matter, and were very articulate and incisive. They indeed unknotted most of the issues. Look at what they said about 25%. In Section 199, that or Section 134 should not be read in isolation. It must be read in conjunction
with Section 299.
Yes, 299 with other sections of the Constitution. So they understand that Abuja is like every other state and must not have a special privilege.
True.
That's how Abuja is regarded. And that pronouncement makes sense. It will take the elephant to bite to the eye of the needle for any court for any court to throw that.
Well, let's wait for the Supreme Court.
I don't want to preempt them, but I think that what I'm saying is that they did a job that may not give the Supreme Court a lot of problems.